Yeah.
Okay.
So basically the same location except larger, and we just have to make sure everybody get a soda or something else for entertainment.
We can always pull it up on Google Maps.
Yeah.
And where is the library located?
The library would be in River.
Down in River.
That's
Well, that's what we
Considerably.
Yeah,
Near Wrong road.
I
I just moved to Temple Parents.
I say you go ahead and find the contract here for the next 2 months in January, right?
Yeah, so, 3 months of this would be October, November, and January with a holiday party in December.
And then everything will be done and over, you can make it done and over, just, you're not signed into anything, if everybody wants to try the library after this, we can always set it up and try that, and then see what happens.
Yep.
I know we put over 100 people in the room at the Bloomingdale Library, so,
Yeah,
I mean, we had 90 there the other night, that
Yeah.
didn't include all the men that showed up.
yeah, that's what Jenny
Enjoy
said.
that.
She said there were a couple of men there. It's like,
There was.
To sweeten the deal on the fact that it would be an open space as well. Yes, we'll have a bit more noise, but people will see us. Right
Yeah.
here, we have the doors shut. No one can see us back
Yeah.
here in public.
and we want to be
We
visible.
will be completely visible.
Yep.
All right, so let's take a vote really quick, just by show of hands. If you're in favor of the library, instead of trying David Buster for 3 months, can you raise your hand?
Is that a vote?
Yeah.
No, this is not
Just
just.
see, and then we'll make a motion for whatever wins this vote. So I guess basically, it's a motion for library versus David Buster's. So we have 4 for library. Anybody else?
Or for
Five.
library?
5 then.
I don't think everybody's understanding what you're saying.
He's saying if you're in favor of
If you're
the
in favor of the library,
library,
show me your
Dave
hand.
and Buster's, raise your hand.
All right, if you are in favor of David Buster's, let's see a show of hands. All right, that's 30 to 4, so, or 30 to 5 or 6. All right, so David Buster's for 3 months, is an approved, motion, and so we will go with that for our next location. All right. Those were the benefits that we got, and now I'm gonna transition to our not-for-profit this week. Coming in to talk is Bree Wallace, and I met Bree at a candidate training event. And this is one of my favorite articles I've ever read. Bree, who was 27, starts talking about we're the only people that are going to keep us safe. No one is coming to save us. It took me until I was in my 40s to figure that out. She figured it out in her 20s. And now she runs the Tampa Period Pantry, which we're going to get to hear all about right now. So, Bree, I'm going to turn it over to you.
So much. Great topic. So like you said, I'm Bree Wallace. I founded the Tampa Period Pantry. I also work at Tampa Bay Abortion Fund during the day. So a lot of reproductive justice things going on. And the number one question I always get asked is why I started the Period Pantry, which goes back to my daily work. I work with a lot of people who are living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of people are like unhoused, already have kids, lots of things like that. And they express a lot of times how they don't have resources, they don't have money. And one of my friends is in Jacksonville. She also works at an abortion fund, and she started one, and I thought it was a great idea. So I kind of worked with her on that and how she got it started, how I could get it started here, especially when we are such a big city right now. Although we are in 5 counties now. So when we started about 2 years ago. We had a few locations in Tampa, mostly Seminole Heights. Now we are in Hillsborough, Pinellas, Polk, Manatee, and Pasco. So a lot of them, it's been really great. It grew very, very quickly, which is very exciting at the same time. It's been a lot of work, a lot of fun paid work, but great. So right now, I think we just added more volunteers. We have about 24 volunteers. We all do a lot of different things. We do outreach. We have people that go restock every week. We have to do art on the pantries, which has been great, especially in the climate we're in right now, where art is under attack. And I guess that's another thing. We work with a lot of local businesses and a lot of churches that are inclusive. Which 2 of them are at UU and Allendale and St. Pete, which I'm sure you saw their pastors were arrested recently. So we do work with a lot of people who are within this movement, understand the mission, and know like people who are unhoused are gonna be coming by, they're gonna be dropping by and grabbing things. So the people that are welcoming to the community. So that was a huge deal breaker whenever we do put up a pantry. We want it to be as much as possible, not always possible, but usually outside 24/7. And people can just come by whenever they want, grab whatever they need. They don't have to talk to everyone or anyone about it, like, fill out anything, which I think was a huge reason too. We are a mutual aid, we're not a nonprofit. I didn't want us to be a nonprofit. I think when you fit into that word as someone who's in it, you know, you have to answer to a lot of people. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted us to be exactly how I wanted us to be and how I wanted, or how us and our volunteers wanted it to be. We didn't have to listen to donors or people like that. We did just get a fiscal sponsor, so that was very helpful. They are the nonprofit industrial complex. So they very much understand the mission, so now we can take in money donations for them. So that's been very great. The main way we do take in donations, which I hate to say, is Amazon wish list. I don't love Amazon, but it's a very easy way to take in donations and go directly to us. Since we don't have like an office or anything like that, because I pay $30 a month for an office when I have a house in the room. Like storage unit, so there's that, but you know. So a lot of it is like remote if we're not like restocking or doing like community events. We're taking a lot through that. People can also go to the pantries directly and donate. So it's kind of like a group library. You know, you can give what you want into it. You can take what you need. So we get a lot of that. We get a lot of people who are like couponers who get things in bulk who will give it to us. So that's been a way that stayed us stable. And it's been going amazingly. I have a lot of people say, you know, like, it's gonna go so bad, people are gonna trash them and steal them, and like that. It's been almost perfect. Of course, a few hiccups, but it's been great. We still get a lot of donations in. Recently we've started giving to some teachers because we understand that a lot of the times students will miss class because either their period, they don't have products. Or they're going through something where their parents don't know they have a period, they don't want to talk about it. We also very much understand that there's a huge stigma around periods, let alone period poverty, that a lot of people don't want to talk about. So we get that it can be uncomfortable. We are trying to fight that stigma, but it's actually when you're younger, it's something that's kind of ingrained in. So we do try to be as discreet, give it to teachers to get out. Things like that. So we're doing that. We're going to try to work a little bit more with the Hillsborough County School Board and like get that moving, get more ads in the school, and then maybe go into Penn Ellens. Right now, we're also working on expanding a little bit more in Manatee. So like Bradenton, Palmetto, Sarasota, and then a little bit more in Old Pasco. We have 30 pantries up right now, so quite a lot to take care of too. So we are staying mindful to where we're putting them, where they're going to get invested to. And things like that. All the pantries have free products in them, which include period products like tampons, pads, menstrual discs and cups. We have reusable period underwear and like I said, cups. And then we also have a lot of health and hygiene products, so like shampoo, conditioner, toothbrushes, deodorant, wipes, things like that that people need as well. Yes, but we do TampaPeriodPantry.org, and I also have some business cards up here that have like a QR code to it too.
Oh, okay, I thought that was just me. Did you say that boards?
Hillsborough County Schools, you know, the schools have products in the girls' restrooms in the high schools.
So that's great. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to learn. But yeah, I'm trying to talk to people right now. I've talked to a few people. I'm waiting for them to get back to me. I will say a few years ago, this answer paid those $6 million to the schools for products. So I do think it's kind of coming out of their own budget where they can find them. A lot of them are just in the nurse's office and not in the bathrooms, which is another thing I'm trying to figure out with them, because getting dispensers within all bathrooms is very expensive, of course. I do think, another, put them in the middle school Title I in Hillsborough. There is that. I don't know how often they get stopped or anything. And I do remember when I was in high school and had to go to the nurse, I had to pay 25 cents. So I'm also making sure that's not a thing.
Sorry, to put money in the machine.
You know, we were told with the Latino community in my mama that the school do that tampons and the girls won't use those, so they miss school. But with the food pantry that I'm working with, we give out every Thursday, sanitary napkins. And ever since they've been doing that, they have noticed, rising tension in the schools, but is there, how would you be able to get a pantry in with my mom?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know this area at all. I'm like way in Tampa. But if you do know like a place that's good that fits like the criteria, I think right now I was being lenient for a while because I wanted more up. I wanted to see out. I do think our biggest thing is we want them outside 24/7 because we also have to have restockers come to them every week. So we wanted to be like during their schedule. A lot of us work like 9 to 5s and stuff. So I think as long as it's outside 24/7, if you know a place, feel free to let me know, and I can definitely work with them to get that up. It's, they don't, I have like an extra of them.
Chris, can you start the slide share? There might be a picture on the next slide.
Sure. Where am I?
Used to, I don't know, my partner built it, like, regional libraries, but that is expensive. So now they're, or not.
Grab the shot here. Oh, okay. There's
Yes,
right up here next to you.
This was the first one, but now we do in like the metal pantries, which is a lot easier to get up and kind of like sustain, because this likes to fall apart all the time. Blow over and everything, so, yeah, they're kind of like those now. So they cost around like $80 each. We've had those up, some of them up for almost 2 years now, that one specifically. And they're all pretty good. One withstood a hurricane, it is about to get replaced. But it withstood the hurricane last year, so hey. So that was the first, and then this one's in Lakeland, and our artistic coordinator painted it. It is beautiful. There's words on the inside, lots of affirmations. How much?
Or do you want, you talking, what's your budget? How much, how many does school use in a week or a month or something?
That's a good question. I'm still very much in the beginning, so I have to have like a whole meeting with them and stuff. I mean,
If I could adopt a school or something.
Yeah.
Every couple of weeks.
yeah, and that's our
Make
thing.
it supportable.
Yeah, and that's our thing too, which is why I'm trying to talk to the school first, and then we're gonna reach out to some period companies that usually will donate to boards like this, so we can hopefully also get some from them to sustain it. I'm thinking probably giving almost all Title I schools, elementary and high school, because I think the middle schools are somewhat taken care of. Giving them like 300 to start all of them, kind of see how it goes and everything. So if we're doing Hillsborough and Pinellas for that, that would be like 90,000. So quite a lot. I think when I looked at the cost, it was like between 13 to 15,000 if we were giving each school 300. Not the time I looked at them, so. But yes, and it would just be pads, because I did forget to mention that, a lot of times, students don't use tampons yet. They don't want to, things like that, so we want to make sure it's something that's more accessible, for them to use. So we would only do pads for now. Also, tampons are more expensive.
Yeah, I just want to mention, this is something that crosses party lines. The first time I saw free product in public facility was in Nebraska, probably 10 or 20 years ago. So this is not something that, you couldn't get support for across the board.
Oh, yeah, we get a lot of, it's been amazing, and I do this in my, whatever we call free time at this point, so they could definitely go further. We've gotten so much support from so many people and like boards and businesses. It's been it's been amazing, and I'm sure we could get more as well to say to that. But we have got a lot. When we started, we had a GoFundMe, and I think in all we've raised like 5,000 on there, which is pretty good. We weren't like looking for too much. It was mostly just to like pay for getting it started, pay for like storage and stuff. So it has been really great, monetary wise.
The Tampa Period Pantry is going to be our charity for next month's meeting. Pads, tampons, anything you can bring, or going to their Amazon wish list on their site to donate. It's extremely important if we are going to be supportive of reproductive health, that we are supportive of it all the way through the line. This is not just a question about dealing with the legal right to access to abortion. This is about making sure that everyone is treated as an equal. This is happening every month to a lot of women. We need to make sure that they have access to everything that they need, and this is particularly important for our lower income individuals. Hillsborough County Public Schools, 40%, 4 out of every 10 kids in Hillsborough County Public Schools lives below the poverty line. If you haven't been into a shopping, into a grocery store to grab some of these recently, it's freaking expensive. Freaking expensive. This is the kind of service we need, and you've heard Bree talk about how they're running everything on a shoestring. These are volunteers. They're running stuff where they are putting every dollar into this. And so this is the kind of organization where our dollars go much, much further in terms of making a difference, similar to the Friends of Waimama group, right? Where this is all going directly to the people who need the help. This is the kind of organization that we can also draw people into, because we had the great point that this crosses party lines, right? Yeah, absolutely. Bree's got another one. Go.
So especially we were in NPR, which was amazing for us. And we had a lot of people reach out after that to start their own period pantry. So I helped people within like Connecticut, North Carolina, a few in Florida. So also like once you start something like this, other people see it and start to do it. So it's kind of like, you know, stop talking, start doing.
Yeah, there we go.
It's been great.
All right, so next meeting, we're bringing feminine products to the meeting. We're going on the Amazon wish list to make sure they're delivered. Okay. All right, now we are going to hang on 1 second, Joe. You're up in like 2 minutes.
All right, man.
Regina cut you off at the knees. Regina's got a couple of signups for petitions. I'm going to let her take the mic and tell us what she's got here and what she needs us for. Regina is one of the regional directors for the Hillsborough County Democrats. And we were in a meeting where we talked about, hey, we're getting more people here. She's always on Zoom, and I was like, come in person, whatever you need, we'll have some volunteers in the room.
Thank you, Drew. I know many of you, I've been coming to these meetings. This is the East Hillsborough what book?
Down
The Democratic Club.
Okay, so it's not just a social club, is it? And you use the word Democrat, and that means something. So part of what it means is getting more Democrats to register, to vote, and elected, right?
Yes.
That's the whole thing. So one of the ways we do that is we help renew the vote by mail people who, many of whom don't know they lost their ability to get a ballot in the mail. So we go door to door and we tell them, you used to use it, you haven't re-enrolled, you're not gonna get one unless you re-enroll. That's what these canvases are about. So I've got a canvas this Friday, down in precinct 805 at the end of John Moore Road, and I've got another precinct in conjunction with the National Nurses Union, and that'll be on Saturday morning, because both of these are gonna be meeting in private residences. I will email you the addresses, but I'm asking for people to sign up and join us for these canvases. And I'll just send these two around. Thank you. Yes,
Is the Saturday morning one the same location as the Friday night?
no.
Different, okay.
These are, no, one of them is up in Mango and one of them is down at the
Okay.
end of John Moore Road.
Right.
Any questions?
On Mobile, came out yesterday. Came out on Mobilize yesterday.
Right, yeah, well, they're both unmobilized and, we just need drivers as well as door knockers. Because the drivers make the canvases go much more smoothly. So if you're not comfortable knocking on doors, great, drive. Thank you.
No excuse. Sit in the car.
All right, but remember, this club, what are we doing? We've been growing. Why? Because we want to help in the community, but ultimately the goal is to get more politicians into office that will listen to the people, that will listen to the community, that understand the concerns that we have. On that end, let's bring Joe up. He came back. Okay, last month, just because he wanted to see what we were all about before he came to speak. So let's hear from Joe.
All right, so I should stand here, right? All right.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you, Drew, for taking the risk of claim when people ask questions, you're either gonna have to repeat the question, give that person the mic.
Okay.
But that's the Zoom.
Oh,
It doesn't affect the room at all. I'll probably just go to the first floor. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Alright, so I wanna say thank you, Drew, for taking the risk of letting me speak tonight. The other thing is super cool seeing another Gen Zer, because usually when I go to club meetings, I'm the only Gen Zer in the room. So super cool seeing another one. Nothing against civic young people. So yeah, like he said, I'm Joe Engel. I'm running for Congress for District 15, which is being represented by Laura Lee, who, let's just put it this way, she does. Yeah, she does a lot of photo ops, but when it comes to doing actual things that benefit her constituents, she just goes along with whatever DeSantis says or Trump says. Let me do a little bit of an introduction. I was born in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I moved to Tampa 10 years ago with my mom, and I've been living here ever since. I live like 40 minutes from here. And if you want to know why I'm running for office, short and simple, I'm tired of the BS in politics. I'm tired of having politicians like her, mediocre, who don't do anything for any of us. And that's basically why I'm running. When I decided to run, I had no connections. I don't have no name. I just said, you know what? I'm gonna run. Because why not? And it's been fun. So far it's been pretty much, I've been doing it all by myself, but I've been having some people help here and there, so that's awesome. And some of the things that I want to go to Congress for is number one, the affordable housing. If you ask me what we should do about it, I would say that obviously we need to build more houses. But besides that, I think that we need to ban corporations like Blackstone from being able to buy single family homes. Because regular people like me and like I assume a lot of people here, we can't compete with corporations that have billions of dollars. We just can't. And if somebody's selling a home, who are they going to sell it out to first? Whoever has money cash or whoever needs to get a mortgage approved, they're going to sell it to whoever has money cash. So we cannot compete against corporations. So it should be, in my opinion, banned from buying single family homes. Another thing that I want to go fight for in Congress is having national paid maternity leave, which we're the only first world country without it. And it could have passed because I know there was a bill introduced like 2 years ago by Bernie Sanders and some other representative. I forgot her name. It was a family act, which would have given up to 12 weeks paid family leave. Sadly, it didn't pass. So that's something that I want to try to pass in Congress. Another thing that I want to do is ban insider trading. I believe that if you're in Congress, you shouldn't be able to invest in the stock market. It is unfair and unethical, right? I think that they should, if they have money invested, they should sell it. And then, if they're going to serve in Congress, not be allowed to invest until they're done serving. Same thing for their spouses, because, they can just give their information for them. So those are 3 things. Also, I want to go fight for universal health care. We're the only first world country without it. And I don't think that people should go bankrupt because of medical bills. People shouldn't be afraid to go to the hospital because it's going to cost them an arm and a leg or call an ambulance. And that's not socialism. That's just taking care of our citizens. We have public schools, right? Where people have the opportunity to get an education, and we're not socialists. So why is having universal health care going to automatically make us socialists, right? That's not, that's just fear mongering. So those are things that I want to go fight for in Congress. And I get, some people might be saying, you're too young, whatever. Listen, I get it. I'm 24. I'll be 25 like 3 months before the election, so I meet the requirement by this much, but I meet it. Listen,
We like it.
I already own my own business. The only one that I've owned so far, I sold it like a year and a half ago. I sold it and I went back to college to finish my degree. I'm currently in college. So I already had my own business. I've had the opportunity of serving as a senator for the student government, and that's been amazing. So it's not like I don't have any experience. So yeah, just because I'm young doesn't mean that I'm in. I currently live with my grandpa. We live together, and I know how important Social Security is for him and Medicare, just like it is for a lot of people here. So I understand that. Just because I'm young, it doesn't mean that I don't understand, what issues or what is important to older people. So for sure, we have to protect that, and I understand, and I'm going to fight to protect. So those are things that I'm hoping to hopefully get to Congress and fight for. That's why I'm running. Any questions?
Real quick, what's the amount you have to come up with money wise?
Oh, yeah.
Because I want to talk about that, because it's what keeps regular people from running for office.
Exactly. I don't know if you guys know the requirements to run for, at least for Congress. I don't know if it's the same for other offices, but for Congress, you need to either get, at minimum, 5,181 signatures from people in the district, or pay $10,000 to be on the ballot. Either of those.
10,400.
What?
400.
Yeah, there you go, 10,400. Yeah, exactly. So as you can see, when any regular person sees that, and they're gonna get discouraged. They're gonna say, "I'm not going to sign this," So that's why a lot of regular people don't run, because they see that and they'll get discouraged. I'm not discouraged. I'm going all the way. So that's sure.
And so let's talk about that for a second. This is why we don't see young people running for office. Because what young person do you know who's got 10 grand just laying around to throw at, maybe I can go do insider trading later, right? Like, that's not what we have. And so Joe has some petitions that he's going to circulate after he's done speaking. If you guys want to sign, because he needs to get the signatures done, because he doesn't have 10 grand laying around. And I think we need to support our candidates to make sure that regular, normal human beings get into office. And it would be nice to have someone young enough to know how to reset a Wi-Fi password.
And to add to that, even if I had $10,000, I would much rather get the signatures, because when you get signatures, you connect with people. People get to know you personally. So that's always good. So if you guys want to sign petitions, I have them here, but you do need to live on the district. So you have to make sure that you live on. So if your representative is Lower Lee, then live on the district.
There's some of us out here, so I know I am.
I just moved to her district.
There you go. So yeah, and if you guys have any other questions that you want to ask me,
I'm not, but I'm already messing with
go ahead.
We have any questions for Joe? All right. I think we're
Going twice.
Can you grab your petition so we can start
Yes.
circulating it?
Sure.
All right, thank you for coming,
All
Joe. All right, and if you've been coming here for a while and you were here for our lecture on Medicare, you might have met Dr. Manamala. At that meeting, we had him speak for us, because I'm not a doctor. I don't know what the hell's going on with any of that stuff. And guess what? He's running for county commission now. So let's turn it over to Doc, and here we go.
So the light is flaring.
Yeah, you stand over here.
You're gonna change the.
So good evening, guys, and I just want to say thank you to the entire club for reminding everyone that there is so much decency and common sense that exists here in our community. My name is Neil Manamala. I am a Valrico native, medical doctor, and I stand before you as candidate for Hillsborough County Commission in 2026.
Here, hang on, let's change.
Yeah,
Give me 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna send some mixed messages here, hang on.
Yeah. That's right. So Hillsborough County Commission in 2026, I'm running for District 5, which is a countywide seat. So I'll be representing all of us. I'm running because I believe in my heart in the dignity of every soul here in Hillsborough County. And I think all of us can feel it, that right now our politics does not reflect or protect that dignity. They don't reflect it up in DC, they don't reflect it up in Tallahassee, and they sure as heck don't reflect it here in the county. And that's thanks in large part to the failure of leadership that we have on the Hillsborough County Commission. We want to change that. We want to change that. I really do believe, and I think you guys know this too, that change happens on a local level before it happens anywhere else. And this is what we're talking about as far as the life, health, prosperity, safety of our neighborhood. I grew up in this neighborhood. I grew up right off of St. Cloud and Lumsden, not too far from here. I am the son of immigrants. You know, a couple parents who came here from India with not much more than faith in the American dream. And you know, they came here about both growing up on farms. My mom was one of 10 siblings. And my brother and I were able to make it through here in large part because of the goodwill and tolerance of so many folks in our neighborhood. I'll tell you, I grew up going to the public schools here, worshipped at Nativity Catholic Church. I was blessed to go to USF for college and medical school. And now I am privileged to serve as a urologist right around the corner here, taking care of the very neighbors who helped raise me. My drive to go into medicine in the first place was indeed that belief in the inherent dignity of every soul. That's what drove me also to advocacy. I'm the president-elect of our Hillsborough County Medical Association, where we fight like heck with the legislators up in Tallahassee and fight against the big power of health insurance companies and big hospital corporations when they try to take away from our patients, take away from our neighbors. And it's through that involvement that I got plugged into our Hillsborough County Healthcare Advisory Board, which oversees our county health insurance plan. How many of y'all know that we have a county health insurance plan? Yep. So this is the child of leaders like Phyllis Busansky, who served on our county commission way back when. And this plan got hatched back in the 90s for multiple reasons. One, because some of our hospitals were drowning, you know, they were taking care of folks and not getting paid. But the most important thing was taking care of folks who didn't have insurance. With any other county, they can't see a primary care doctor. They can't see a specialist. Honestly, they come in whenever a crisis happens, and that causes ERs, and that affects their dignity. I got mobilized and sprung out of the chair when certain ideologues on the county commission, including my opponent, Donna Cameron Zepeda, put that item in their crosshairs. That's when I said enough was enough. Enough with taking the poor, enough with taking the vulnerable, enough with taking the voiceless and using them as pawns on the political chessboard. Enough was enough. And Lord knows, you know, I realized that, you know, as a urologist, I can take care of kidney stones. I can treat prostate cancer out here in Dalrymple and Brandon and Sun City and Center and Plant City, but you can only go so far when the systems that are supposed to serve them are broken. When the politics that are supposed to hear them aren't listening. We can make a difference here with local change. So let me tell you what kind of differences we want to make. You know, our platform on the county commission is one that's centered on housing, centered on transit, and centered on healthcare. There's a lot that we can do with the county commission that impacts all of those buckets. But as it relates to housing, you know, I don't know if you guys know this, but we have something called the Hope Affordable Housing Fund, which was hatched as a from Mary Ellis Smith and Kim Oberman, a couple of my predecessors on the county commission back in 2019, which took a small fraction of the county budget, leveraged it, used it to bring in matching federal funds to create more than 1,100 affordable housing units throughout county over the course of the last 6 years. What happened in 2022? The red wedding, as they say, with the county commission. You know, we turned from being 4-3 Democrat to Republican to 5-2 Republican to Democrat. Two of those Republicans are up for re-election. I think you heard from one of my colleagues, Hattersley, the other day, running against Washington. I'm running against Donna Cameron Zepeda, which very special point on the Affordable Housing Fund. Used to live in county-funded affordable housing just 10 minutes away from here in Palm River, the year prior to her voting to eliminate the fund. And that says something about her, maybe, but it says something even more about our politics, about the cynicism, about the defeatism that surrounds the conversation about affordable housing. When it comes to housing, it's also important to talk about sprawl. It's important that we have leaders in who hold developers to account. I'm no enemy of development. I am an enemy of unsustainable development. It's important that developers pay their fair share as it relates to impact fees to keep up the infrastructure when we talk about development that happens in East County, down in South County and Waimama. Now up in Lutz, these are areas of common ground that we can find no matter what your party affiliation is. You want to be sure that roads keep up, pipes keep up with wherever houses are being built. And we're not packed in like sardines, right? Where there's only a 2-lane road that takes us from point A to point B, where we have mental breakdowns because we're stuck in an hour of traffic getting on one side of the county to the other. We also want to be sure that the green spaces are protected so that when sometimes maybe they are bulldozed, that there is flood mitigation measures that are put in place and the developers actually, indeed, like I said, pay their fair share as it relates to. That conversation carries over to the topic of transit. Parks is our public transit agency. It's what runs our buses. It is the most underfunded public transit agency in the nation per capita, which is an embarrassment for an area like Tampa Bay. We need to do everything we can to ensure that some of the demagoguery that surrounds the conversation of public transit in our region, where we talk about separating East County and South County from the city and all that. There are a lot of cuts that happened in 2017 and 2020. And to be honest with you, the agency has been doing the best it can on a shoestring budget. We have to do everything we can to increase, targeted funding to areas like this, such that those bus routes can come back. We also want to be innovative. My general theme when it comes to transit is let's get less cars on the road. How do we do that? Multimodal transit innovation. So some of the plans, for instance, for things like a commuter ferry that would have connected Gibsonton to MacDill Air Force Base, taking at least 2,000 active duty service people off the roads, that got shut down in 2023, like I said, with the Republican majority, that elections have consequences, right? We got to bring back those plans. We got to do everything we can to ensure that we get as much investment out here as possible. And that leads us then to health. Taking care of families is critical. I applaud the work of Joe running for Congress. I applaud the work of Bree in providing mutual aid or aid as needed. But we need to do everything we can on the county level to strengthen our safety net, especially amidst the cuts that have happened that are continuing to happen on the federal level as it relates to Medicaid and other things. We know our ERs are going to be crowded now with sick kids because vaccines are no longer mandated. But, hospitals are going to, in some areas, particularly rural areas, are going to get shut down. We need to do everything we can to ensure that our county health insurance plan is not cut like folks like Cameron Zapata want to do, but strengthen and expand it. Ensure that it covers kids. Ensure that it covers people. Right now, it's anyone who's 175% of the federal poverty line and below. We need to expand that coverage as well. And I run a practice in medicine. I'm all about making sure there's return on investment. We're not talking about increasing taxpayer burdens. We're actually talking about making sure that there's more return on investment on things too. It's possible to take care of people in our county while also ensuring that the county budgets are confirmed. There's other things we want to work on too. Childcare and certain childcare ventures like in Waimama, in particular, want to make sure there's access and some degree of support as that. Stormwater resilience, we are behind. Almost 50% of the stormwater infrastructure is not up to date. It's from the 80s, older than me. And our county is way behind as it relates to preparing. We're literally in the middle of the next hurricane season after disastrous hurricane season. But I think the biggest thing here is making sure that you have leaders that listen. If you don't have my card or I've directly given you my cell, my number is 813-455-4246. That's my personal cell. My office, more than any, as a local official, is one where you really should have a phone number of your elected official. You really should be able to call me, whether it be a sinkhole in front of your road or big picture items, right? You might be thinking, there might be some in the back who are like, Neil, you're talking big talk. But we're in 2025, right? There's a lot of darkness that surrounds our politics right now. There's a lot that's in the news that makes you lose hope. It makes you feel powerless. And I attest that, I certainly felt that way. And I remember distinctly how I felt watching the election results in November of 2024. It was hard for me to put the news on for a while. But I want to tell you guys where I started feeling my power. It was at my daughter's 20-week ultrasound. Where my wife and I are expecting our first child November 3rd of this year, which is exactly 1 year away from Election Day next year. We are so blessed to be welcoming her into this world. Also very nervous about what kind of world she's going to come into. What is my daughter going to inherit? What is she gonna be thinking when she's my age, 35?
Security, security.
Is she gonna be wondering, did my daddy's generation put up their hands and say, it's too late, we can't make a difference? You know, the folks in power have already set the stage? Or is she gonna say that we planted the seeds for the next generation to ensure that they not just survive, but they thrive? We can make that decision here today. Like I said, change happens in our neighborhood, in our communities, here locally, in our elections. I need your help, and I cannot do this alone. I need your vote and your voice. I need you to spread this news with the folks in your neighborhoods, in your homes, in your communities, whether it be your churches or your synagogues or groups like this that aren't just Democrats by all means. Our county is a big county. I'm running for a countywide seat. As many of you know, this county has got almost 1.6 million people in it. It's bigger than the state of Rhode Island. In some ways, I'm running for like a governorship, which is, I laugh, but it's kind of true. And I think it's really important, as Drew was mentioning earlier, that we do everything we can to kind of raise the funds to get us to where we need to be effectively able to spread our message, to spread our story. A lot of it is institutional support, with endorsements and all that kind of stuff. We've been very blessed to have some support like that. But this campaign is grassroots. It's people power. And so if there's anything you can do to support us, beyond promising your vote, beyond spreading the word, even $25 goes a long way to get our message out. And so I am here to answer any and all questions, whether it be later when you text me at 2 a.m. or which I'm okay with. I'm up and out, or right now. I'm an open book, and I'm happy to kind of share certainly my thoughts, but this campaign is about you. So thank you guys so much for your belief, your faith, even being here in the first place and listening. And God bless you. Thank you.
Do we have questions for Dr. Neal? Over there in the corner.
Oh,
how's it going, everyone? So I'm actually from Los Angeles,
Hang on.
California.
Maybe hold the microphone so the people on Zoom can hear you.
That's okay.
So I'm from Los Angeles, California. I travel all around the United States. So I've been traveling to different red states, blue states. I'm actually the owner of the guy that owns the trademark of Immigrants Make America Great. So we sell a lot of merch and everything. Every state that I've been going to has been very crazy because there's a lot of different cultures, different backgrounds. So I went to the suburbs, a lot of people. There's some people that are not educated, and there's some people that are educated. And like, for example, what you just said, he's a county commission, and people like him are very important for every county. And the reason why is because whenever something bad happens in a state, for example, California, you're always going to blame the governor, for example, Gavin Newsom, But reality, people like him are the ones that control the funding, where it goes and everything. And, I've been here for like 4 or 5 days. And the reason why I've been here is because I met Kelly, and she actually brought me here. This is actually my first time coming to a Democrat meeting. And I'm not a Republican.
Thank you for coming.
But I respect what you guys are doing, and I'm on your side right now.
There we go.
And I never been. Huh?
Your shirt tells us that.
Oh yeah. Hey, we sell a lot of shirts, and what's crazy is that my main goal is to let people know that we all have to stay together. It doesn't matter if you're brown, black, Asian. We have to stay together as unity, and that's the only thing right now how we're gonna win. If you guys want to win and change the world for the younger people like myself, we have to spread unity, and that's the only way to win right now. Because there's too much division, there's too much hatred, and I've been here only for 4 or 5 days, only because there was an abandoned dog in front of my hotel, and I met her at the shelter because she rescues the cats and dogs and helps them out. So it's really nice of you for bringing me here. But people like him are very important, and I believe from me being here for a few days, I would love for you to please try to figure out a way to put funds into the dog shelters.
Yes.
For the cats and dogs, because I never knew about what happened to Hillsbury, Hillsborough. I didn't know there was there was AC problems, and no dogs or cats should ever suffer from AC problems. Like that's, and especially here, I can't even survive. I swear, he is bad here. It's very bad, and yeah, I think that's one of the top things. And I was one of the activists for California, Los Angeles, where they were going to shut down 3 dog shelters. And there was 7 of them, and they were going to shut down 3 of them. That means they were going to euthanize more dogs and cats. And because I have a big, strong following, I was able to spread awareness, and we put a lot of pressure on the mayor. And eventually, she ended up giving $5 million in funding for the dog shelters, and now they have funding for another year. And then after that, we're gonna have to fight again. But,
Dr. Neal, what do you think about the shelter issue that he just raised?
So, I think you're right.
my name is Brian.
Brian, thank you so much. So I 100% agree with you. But as I said, dignity of every soul, and that includes our dogs, cats, and pets. We have a pet resource center that is funded through county funds, and just to give you guys context to how expansive our county operations are. This year, or next year's budget, which is getting talked about and approved right now, is a budget of more than $12 billion with a B. And there's 7 county commissioners. Each commissioner is a voice that can really make a huge impact. And so it's important that we do everything we can to ensure that enough funding is going towards our pet resource center, and that there's enough partnership with private centers as well to ensure that no pet is living without dignity, without AC, right? That's such a basic thing in Florida. Some of that also ties into conversations about nonprofit funding. As you guys might have been watching the news, every other week, there's something that's in the crosshairs with this current county commission, which is ideologically oriented. Nonprofit funding has been on the chopping block. It's been a fundamental part of our county's operation because it's public partnership. ECHO, the group that we were at and we talked about, they're in large part exists because Pat Kemp, one of the former county commissioners, allotted a small fraction of the county budget to kind of help it keep it running. It's important that we do that when it comes to pet-related nonprofits. This is about mercy, justice, and compassion.
All right, who else had a question? I think Bonnie, you got a question?
So out of all the places that our Surgeon General, whatever you want to call him, our RICO to announce about the vaccines, I just was blown away by the loud applause. I think you weren't in that room.
It was at Grace Christian School, which I know very well. Drove by with me.
Can we hand the microphone back to Dr. Neal real quick?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the question is, you said that, do you feel that the vaccines is a done deal, or do you feel, what is your feeling about the,
Right. So Bonnie's question was about vaccine mandates, and it's not a done deal. I mean, quite literally, their own party is fractured as it relates to that. And you see Trump making comments, backtracking, not backtracking, but saying, "Oh, I don't know, some of the vaccines work, right?" And to be honest with you, like where I lay a lot of this blame, in so many ways, it's not the hard right ideologues that are touting it, but the people who enabled it yet know better, right? So whether it be Senator Cassidy up in DC, who was the deciding vote to confirm RFK Jr., yet he's a physician. He's a physician. And yet now in the most recent hearing, he's like, "Oh, you guys, what are you doing about the vaccine?" Then he's trying to backtrack it, right? Here locally, who was at Grace Christian School clapping along with the Surgeon General's announcement about vaccine mandates? Some of our state reps. Karen Gonzalez Pittman, who's the wife of a physician. You got Susan Valdez, who's now a Republican, who was literally on the school board charged with taking care of our kids. You got Casey DeSantis, who grew up in the household of an optometrist. These are all folks who know better, yet they still sign on to the madness. What we can do to ensure that this madness is also not enshrined into state law is knock, call, and really plead, with the righteous fury, the anger that drives us to a place like this, to ensure that they're held accountable. Their minds can be changed when our voices are loud enough. So the Karen Gonzalez Pittmans, the Susan Valdez's, the McClure, I think, represents here, right? So folks like that need to be held to account. They don't listen to us. We need to vote them out. And Yeah, so any other questions?
Actually, we gotta wrap it up because we got one more person on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Neal, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Chris, can you throw Jan up on the screen? And we're gonna transition to here with Jan Schakowsky, who is running for CD 16.
Okay.
Steiner, I'm sorry. Schakowsky's for Chicago for me, sorry.
Thank you. It's late and I'll be very brief. I'm sorry.
Wait. That's not what I want to do. We should be off screen sharing, should you just? How did you get that up there? I don't want to share.
We want to stop share.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
There you go. Chris, I'll leave the microphone with you for a minute.
Sure.
Check her things from Zoom.
Anyway, I intend to come back. What I want to say is I'm sorry not to be there in person, even from the back. I know at least half the people in your room. I'm Jan Schneider, running in Congressional District 16. We have run this race before, and we have at least twice, and I think it's 3 times, run the closest race against a Republican incumbent for Congress in this state. I assume I'll get my chance to talk, so let me just say I'm a fighter and an activist. I will join you in the great heat for protests, but I'm doing other things. If you told me a couple years ago I'd be doing volunteer work for Liz Cheney, I would have said you're out of your mind. But we disagree on everything except the currently most important thing. So there you are, live and learn. I also run a free legal clinic in public housing. But right now, all that is subsumed by this country becoming an autocracy. We have a racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, rapidly lying president, and we have to be active as well. So thank you very much for providing the food to everybody that's running. In previous elections, my issue was healthcare, particularly Medicare for all. It's now defend democracy. So thank you very much. And I hope to be there next time without COVID. Thank you. I see.
Have any questions? Anybody want to? No?
We'll have her in as a regular speaker when she's healthy. We'll have you in as a regular speaker when you're feeling better.
I'm feeling a lot better, but you wouldn't want me there yet. I'm going to tell you. The doctor will confirm that. Thanks again.
All right. So that brings us to almost the very end of the program. I want to talk about 2 more things really quick. So we talked about our moment of righteous anger earlier. I just want to add something on. So before I was here, I was at the school board meeting. The school board had on their docket whether or not they were going to ban more books based on a tweet from members of DeSantis's government. We organized a very large coalition with Equality Florida, the LGBTQ caucus, East Hillsborough. We had a lot of people there, including several social media influencers. We had a lot of people in the room. We fought and we got our ass kicked. I just got a text that our school board voted unanimously to ban 2 more books that DeSantis's administration asked them to ban.
Time to ban them.
And so this is one of the things, and I think Kel Cameron pointed this out the last time we were here, that not all Democrats are worthy of our support. And I want you to remember this. And remember that, and I'm sure this will piss off the school board, so I'm talking directly to you, school board. We worked hard to have a 5-2 advantage of Democrats on that freaking board. We worked hard to get them elected, and we elected Democrats to do Democrat shit. And one of the things that Democrats don't do is ban fucking books. One of the things that Democrats don't do is bend over when the governor tells you not to protect immigrants, which is what this school board did. They refused to protect Latino kids from ICE. Now they're refusing to protect our books. I don't know about you, but I'm fucking pissed off. And that this is the state of the Democrats in this county. Where is our spine? Let's have Neil introduce a chiropractor to some of these school board members. Maybe that can help them out. I don't know. Maybe they're doing a bunch of yoga, and that's how it's so easy for them to bend over every time the Republicans ask them to do something. But this is unacceptable for us as a county. We need people who are going to fight. People who are going to have a plan of what to do. And we can't just back down every time the Republicans are mean. So, I'm sorry to end on a little bit of a negative note there. Let's skip to the very end and do something positive, which is helping Bree. Let's make sure next month when we do this, skip past it. We're donating to Bree.
Thank you guys very much.
Everybody, we're bringing pads, tampons, going to their Amazon wish list. We sorry.
Yeah.
We have tampons for adults. It's just when she said there are no tampons, that was for schools.
Oh, okay.
And remember, this is something, if we are going to stand for women's rights, we need to stand for those rights from the time they're teenagers till the time they're past menopause. We have to be part of this if we want to make a difference in the community. So let's make sure that we're there for Bree next month, just like we were there for Friends of Waimama. We have so much food, Bonnie had to bring a wagon to carry all that out. A wagon. So we're going to do that again. We're going to need a motion to adjourn, but Chris is pointing at me. What do we got, Chris?
For those who didn't read my email,
Me, sorry.
there is an event on September 17th. It's Pizza and Politics, free pizza. Well, it's not totally free, you gotta live with politics. Anybody who still got my email, the information's in there on who to contact, the red will be coming. If not, contact the club or me. You know, you go to ehcdclub@gmail.com. You can send mail there and I read that, or you can send it to me personally, cradulich, CRADULICH @yahoo.com, and I will pass it on.
Real quick, that pizza place where they're having this, one of the spots I toured to try and find some meeting location. It was there were two separate ones. One was called Identical, and the other one was called Blankets. I apologize, I'm blanking on the names of the authors. Obviously, I've been talking since like 3 o'clock this afternoon, so I'm a little bit tired. But those are the names of the two books. I'm just blanking on the names of the authors. You can see them in the agenda for the school board. And again, the school board who unanimously voted to ban 2 books based on a tweet. So
Give us their date.
yeah, that'll be one of the next things we'll be
They
doing.
are Democrats.
Yeah, 5 of the 7 are now they're a political group, but
Yeah.
Democrats worked hard to be there, and they certainly want to be at our Democrat tables when we're raising money. They certainly want to be at our Democrat tables when we're rounding up voters.
And they came here.
Let's remember that the next time they're coming ask with their hands out, asking for our help.
What was the vote?
Unanimous. 7-0.
What was the reason?
And they came and talked to us also.
Republicans are beanie weenies and are very scary, so they were concerned. That we face consequences.
Oh, no.
That's how you can tell when Drew Vaughn gets super mad. I stop swearing, and then I start getting real quiet.
The state board
Can you repeat that about saying about weeds? I don't know.
The state board
Beanie weenies.
The state board threatened to remove the chair and then like made some pointed comment about one of the members, so really hammered.
Yeah, so, and look, we're in Florida. To be fair to the school board, the threat that DeSantis would try to remove a member of the school board is a real threat. That being said, back in April, when we had 75, 100 people ready to come speak at the school board to say, hey, we just want you to put some basic protection for all of our students, but especially our Latino students in, so that ICE can't come in and raid our school. Where right now, in Hillsborough County Schools, a report card is safer than a student. And here's why. Our Hillsborough County School Board refuses to implement a step that other counties have done, which is to require a judicial warrant to enter the school and take a student. That means ICE can walk in and say, I want to take Eduardo out of this school. And they can do it. But if they came in and they said, I want to take Eduardo's report card, they couldn't because of a federal law called FERPA that says you gotta have a warrant in order to take federal and take any school payment. That's the situation that our kids in Waimama are in. That's the situation my kids are in. And many other children or grandchildren of people in this freaking group. That is unacceptable. And at some point, we're now at a point where the school board has elected not to stand up for Latino. The school board has elected not to stand up against book ban. You know what happens when you don't stand up to a bully? Do they go away? No, they get worse. What do you think's gonna happen next? You think they're just gonna go like, oh, well, they capitulated? Someone should maybe read a history book about World War II and find out how that works.
Yeah.
Doesn't go well.
Yeah.
Apparently the World War II books, maybe those were banned. I don't know.
Diary of Anne
Maybe
Frank,
that's why our
right,
school board doesn't know this.
Diary of Anne Frank, they're gonna
Yes,
read.
Dr. Manning.
If it's okay, if you give me the liberty, just for more adjourning. I also want to invite each of you guys personally to my campaign kickoff, which is next Wednesday on the 17th at 6 p.m. at Laura and Ybor. And I know some people are thinking about carpooling and whatnot, so Ybor is not too far away, but it would be an honor for you guys to have me to be there. We're getting representatives from all over the county, but it would mean so much to have folks from where I grew up and where I continue to work be there. It would mean so much to my heart that if you guys can make it to our event.
Remember, this is a candidate who just gave you his personal cell phone number. Right?
Yeah,
Which Joe is also now going to do.
Oh, yeah, seriously.
All right, motion to adjourn. Oh,
Yeah.
hang on just one. Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second? Perfect. Adjourn.
Thank you.
What the?
Just wanna say something. Alright, well, as your meeting,
You do.
so, I want to give you guys advice real quick. First time I talked to you, I was kind of nervous, but I was kind of scared coming to Florida. A lot of people from outside of the state, like, I'm afraid of the world about that. I'm gonna be straightforward with you guys. You guys have a bad reputation. Because it's happening here.